Good morning. One thing that I find is really important, going to bed and waking up at a similar time every day. Oh Tom, I know it'll change when you have a child. I know it'll change when I have a child, but I'm taking what I can get at the minute. Chuffing heck, eh? Just look at that. Lovely red sky in the morning. I typically have one rest day every 10 days-ish. One thing to note is, although it's a rest day, it's a very active day. And it's one thing that I've been trying to make sure I'm even more on top of recently in lockdown, is to make sure that I am physically active in that rest day. Doing things like walking the dog twice a day, getting my steps in, do any non-exercise physical activity such as washing and cleaning the van, keeping my body moving and my mind ticking over. Now obviously today is a working day as well, and I have got a lot of office work to do. I must admit, I've chose a good day to a rest day today because it's like 2 degrees now, it's absolutely freezing. Come on then, drop. Huh? You hungry? Come in, see? Go on. So, one key difference in breakfast selection between a training day and a rest day is that there is no direct demand for carbohydrates in that first meal. I don't follow a low carb diet, I don't follow a high carb diet. I follow a diet which manipulates carbohydrates around what I'm doing, around the training sessions and around my performances. So typically this breakfast will be fairly low carbohydrate. Yeah, I'm gonna stack you up there. So basically today, 2 eggs and some smoked salmon with maybe a little bit of spinach on the side. Nice and easy, job's a good one. I feel as though I operate mentally and physically a little bit better on a rest day when I have a low carbohydrate breakfast. So I'll have that, another black coffee, and that'll see me through. That'll see me through till like an early-ish lunch. Oh Tom, why are you frying your eggs? Surely you want to have poached eggs. Well, actually, poached eggs may be lower in fat. A, I'm not trying to avoid my fats. I'm using rapeseed oil, which is a really good source of fat. B, if you actually look at how much fat is left in the pan afterwards, not much of that rapeseed oil is going into the eggs that I'm going to be consuming. And C, it's a lot easier. So there you go. One thing with my breakfast is I always, regardless of what I'm doing, always try and tick off a minimum of 20 grams of protein. Usually it's around 30 grams of protein. Now, I always do kind of rough calculations in my head. If I'm having like a porridge with a scoop of protein in, then that's easy because I know a scoop of protein is 25 grams of protein, so I've ticked it off. If I'm doing a breakfast like this, it's a little bit harder to kind of, well, it's not hard, but it's you have to be a bit more mindful of it. "8:40. So I've been up for just over 2.5 hours. First meal of the day. We've got 3 eggs, sat on a bed of spinach with a little bit of smoked salmon, blueberries, and a sprinkling of chai seeds, which has no purpose really other than being good for the gram. Sat here with a black coffee. I'm going to get through a couple more hours of work. Sedentary morning. Client check-ins, Training Peaks notifications. I've got a couple of plans to write, emails, and a little bit of continued professional development. I'm a big advocate in investing in yourself. So any money that the business makes, I put back into investing into myself and giving myself a better education on certain elements that I'm maybe not as clued up on as I would like to be. A pint of water that's got some creatine in. I've had my supplements for the morning with my breakfast, which was a vitamin D supplement. I might end up having another black coffee at around 10:30, 11. So the next time I'll see you is at lunchtime.
It confuses me when I turn the TV on and listen to the news. It's upsetting.
It's sad.
Sad. I can't sleep at night sometimes. That's why I don't want to listen to the news.
So, a couple of hours of work done. Wash my van and also a couple of my bikes. I've got my cyclocross bike and a mountain bike to clean.
Think for yourself.
Okay.
Figure it out yourself.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this field, but is anyone else with me here that if you wash your van in the rain or your car in the rain, you get a much better finish afterwards? Please comment below if you're the same, because my wife just thinks I'm mental.
Okay, meal number 2. At lunch I often kind of make up as I go along, to be honest. Firstly, it depends on if I've got any leftovers from the previous day, but a rest day lunch is again typically fairly low carbohydrates, ticks off a good amount of protein and healthy fats. So today there's no leftovers to have. Basically, I'm going to make one of my regulars, which is what I call a tuna avocado mosh. Clue is in the name, it is tuna and avocado mixed together. Inside, a very small sweet potato. So yes, carbohydrates, but not massive amount of carbs. And then on the side of that, I'm just having loads of veg. Coconut oil in the pan. Quarter of a red cabbage in there. Frying away in that coconut oil. I put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. And then when that is nearly cooked, I'll add some spinach. Meanwhile, 100 grams sweet potato, chop the ends off, a little slit down the middle for roughly 4 minutes. In a bowl, a can of tuna without a lid. Chop through half this avocado, add that to the tuna and mix it all in. Now I won't lie, to make that as tasty as possible, you should put the whole avocado in. But if you are watching calories a little bit, avocado is obviously fairly calorie dense, so don't overdo it. I'm gonna add some spinach to the cabbage and whack the tuna mosh onto the sweet potato and voila. Okay, the time is 12:29. Meal number 2. 110 grams sweet potato, 3 sun-dried tomatoes, a can of tuna mixed with half an avocado onto that sweet potato, about 8 sugar snap peas, quarter of a red cabbage with a handful of spinach, fried, sauteed together, a few chai seeds just for the gram, and I've actually got some raisins mixed in that just to sweeten it up a little bit. Usually after lunch I also go for another little walk with the dog just for 10-15 minutes, and that just helps to digest and assimilate that food a little bit. But yeah, gonna consume this and then crack on. Usually after my lunch, I've got a bit of a sensation and need for a little bit of chocolate or something. So I don't dive into my dairy milk. I usually just have half a square or a square of 80% or 90% dark chocolate, which just satisfies me. Dark chocolate is really good. There's loads of health benefits associated with it. Google it. It's good stuff. I have that with a coffee, and that sees me through. I don't have my tea until about 6:30ish, and obviously I last had my lunch at 12:30, so I'm getting a little bit peckish, and now is a perfect opportunity to have a healthy snack. In my mind, a perfect opportunity to have another protein serving. So some vegan blend or some whey protein with some fruit, chocolate protein, and only about 20-30 grams of frozen raspberries. It'll just see me through till this evening's meal. Second dog walk of the day. A fairly pacier walk though, because it's absolutely freezing. I'm going to combine this walk with getting a couple of bits from the shop. Oat milk is on the shopping list, and mushrooms ready for tonight's tea that you'll see in a bit. Okay, I'm going to start making this evening meal. This is a meal for me and my wife. We always eat together. Today I'm making a like carbonara, a pasta carbonara pasta dish. You'll all know what carbonara is. I aren't going to go through the recipe with you. Oh Tom, I thought you said it's a rest day. Why are you having loads of carbohydrates? Now this is where there's a switch. The day has been fairly low carbohydrates up until this evening meal. But what I have to consider now is that tomorrow morning I am doing a very hard training session. So if I was to have this evening's meal low carbohydrate as well, that would not see me well for this tomorrow's training session. So yeah, now it's a time to ramp up the carbohydrates, fill up my glycogen stores a little bit so that tomorrow I'm absolutely pinging. Brown pasta, bacon lardons, a load of mushrooms, some chicken breast, some peas, some wilted spinach, and some creme fraiche. What is it, Joe? 8 o'clock. I've had my evening tea and just relaxing now. Time to put the video down and start to wind down for the evening. I will probably have a little snack at about 8:30, 8:45. That's usually either like yogurt or cottage cheese, some like dairy protein basically, sometimes with some carbohydrates in there as well, but then yeah, day's done. I'm going to put the calories into and all the meals into my fitness pal now and see what came of it in terms of overall calories. But for now it's time to stop videoing and wind down, ready for a good night's sleep. Day done. See you later.